welcome back to Everything DIY. Today we're going to be continuing on to the next snowboarding DIY in this three-part series, and that is hot waxing your board. Additionally, we have two other supplementary videos up that are, well, either up or will be up this week at some time, and that is setting up the stance on your snowboard and fine-tuning the edges on your snowboard. We recommend if you're going to wax your own board, you buy an appropriate snowboard iron. It'll have the specific temperatures on the dial so that you can stay within the proper heat range, making it easier to work with than a clothing iron. We also recommend that you buy the proper snowboard wax. We're using an all-temperature wax because the conditions we're riding in are somewhat erratic, so this wax should have us pretty well covered. I highly recommend that you research waxes. There are tons of products on the market and you should try to find one that best suits your conditions. You're probably wondering if you even need to wax, but the best way to tell is to check the edges at the bottom of the board. If you see white streaks or marks, and it may be kind of hard to tell on my board because I did just wax it and the lighting may just not be showing them very well, but marks that don't really match the color, the original color of the board, like this, that's a good indicator that your base is beginning to dry and will need some wax to keep the board hydrated for optimal health and performance. Before we get started, some people recommend you either remove or loosen the bindings before waxing because having the binding tight against the board will create dimples or warp the board around the screws. We've never had this issue, but to be on the safe side, we're going to loosen the screws just in case. And I'm going to do them very lightly, not over loosened. First thing to do is, if your board is dirty, to clean it. Ours is pretty clean, although I'm still gonna wipe it down with a damp paper towel just to get it off any excess. And then with a dry paper towel. If you suspect you have a dirty or contaminated board, we recommend that you hot scrape it. What this means is that you apply a coat of wax, just like we're going to do in this video, but instead of waiting a long time to scrape it off, you scrape it off immediately. This should remove any impurities from your base and leave a totally clean surface. Next, we're gonna drip our wax, so we're gonna grab our iron and set it to the temperature specified in the wax packaging. Here it says 189 degrees Fahrenheit. You want it to be hot, but not hot enough to where you actually see smoke. I'm just gonna set that temperature now. Okay, so it should be warm enough now. I'm gonna grab the wax and start going around first the edges of the board, dripping all the way around the edge. Then I'm gonna go down the center in a zigzag motion and leave a bit at the tips at the end. So for whatever reason, the outlet we had this plugged into wasn't getting enough power in there, so it wasn't heating up as much as I thought it was. Obviously, I was sitting there with it on the thing forever and not a lot was happening. So I changed the outlet and now things should work better. I'm just gonna put some more wax on the spots that it didn't hit and I had expected it to. Just really quick. That's what it should look like, and a little bit more on this side. All right. Now we can start working this wax into the board. You want to move through the board slowly, similar to ironing clothing. You don't want to stay in one spot too long as it can warp or burn the board. Just keep moving the wax around until you cover the entire board. Be kind of hard to tell on camera, but all you really got to do is make sure that the whole board, every inch of it's covered in wax. It doesn't have to be pretty, but if you're missing spots, just keep going over it with your iron and If you need more wax, put more wax in that spot, but otherwise, yeah, just make sure all of it's covered. Now with that covered, we just wait. Some people prefer to wait overnight before they scrape their board, but mine didn't really need wax that bad, so I'm just gonna wait about an hour and then just go ahead and scrape it all off. Alright, hour is up and the board's cooled down. Now let's scrape off all that wax. If you're wondering why we're doing this, it's because we don't want a layer of wax over the board's surface. We want the wax to penetrate deep and fill the pores of the board. Leaving a layer of wax actually does the opposite of what you might think, and it will slow you down. To scrape the wax, just grab your scraper, put it on the board like this, and just start getting off as much wax as possible. You want to scrape in one direction from tip to tail. Also try to keep even pressure on the scraper. You really don't want to leave divots or scrapes in your board from these sharp edges. Okay, so pretty messy, right? This is what it should look like after. It's still a little rough, but don't worry, we have a couple more steps until we're done. Okay, now I'm gonna grab my nylon brush, and they do sell professional ones of these, but I'm not racing anywhere, so I just got this at my local hardware store. So just like we did the scraping, I'm gonna be brushing tip to tail, and the objective really is to just remove any other wax buildup that may be left over and really smooth the surface over again. Try to get it as smooth as possible. So don't worry if your board doesn't look quite perfect just yet. We're going to do one more step until I'm completely done, and I'm going to use a Scothbrite pad to just go over it one more time like I did with the nylon brush. Doing the same thing. Alright guys, so this is the finished product. You should be looking for a nice smooth surface and really no streaks, a nice solid color, and pretty much looking like a new board. Hopefully this will help you out, get you going down that hill a little bit faster than the skier right behind you. So if you want to see more from us, go ahead and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to leave them below. And of course, hit the like button, it helps us out a lot, and we'll see you in our next one. Bye!